Luckily, we don't see them very openly, others will get scared. In our outside also, on our skin, so many different types of bacteria and all living comfortably like. And if we are kind and generous and very compassionate, then we should not take bath and let them and not apply soap and all. Then they survive also for a longer time. Not only on our skin, but if go inside in our blood, in our stomach, in our flesh, in our so many these various organs, variety of those little bacterias, they live. We try to take antibiotics, but they have now overcome them, and they survive very comfortably there. Sometimes they thrive on those antibiotics. They have become like their food. They're just waiting for some antibiotics to come. So there are beings inside us. There are variety of beings around us. But there are beings who are in whom we are also existing. Like from the cosmic standpoint, there is Brahmaji, the creator, for whom this entire world is his body. So each one of us, we are existing in the body of the totality. So totality also is a huge body and one person. The universal person which we have seen in the 11th chapter is a one person. This whole cosmos is one person with all the multitude of planets and stars and galaxies and huge this cosmos is one person whose body it is. And we are so small that it appears very, very large and huge and big. Even if we reduce our size and look at our body, then it will appear so vast and big. So there are millions and millions of variety of beings, and beings means those who are conscious of the little body structure. So Bhagavan says, in all the kshetra, in all these bodies, there is a kshetrajna, the knower of that body, the one who is aware of that body. See, even in a tiny little ant, that ant is a body, outer structure, but there is someone who is aware of that body. That is called kshetrajna. It is not the intellect, it is not the mind, it is that consciousness which is conscious of that body. Even a tiny little amoeba, there is that consciousness which is conscious of that body, which is aware of that body. Because of that awareness, there is expression also as life. And there is then response and interaction with the world around. So there is a body, and there is the knower of the body, or one who is conscious of the body. So that conscious of the body is called a kshetrajna, and that body is called kshetra. So it appears on the face of it that there are many bodies and there are many kshetrajnas also. Millions and millions of types of bodies are there, and it appears there are millions and millions of types of kshetrajna. But here Bhagavan reveals a very important point. He says that kshetrajnam chapi mam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata, that I alone am there as kshetrajna in all the bodies. That means the kshetrajna is one only. It appears like many in many bodies. Now this, to comprehend this, let us take one example. Just imagine the sky, and there are these clouds. Clouds are nothing but various tiny drops of water, you can say. So in those tiny little drops of water, you have the reflection of the sun. So each drop, it shines. Sometimes two, three drops come together and it shines. Sometimes a lot of drops come together and the reflection of the sun is there in that. So the drops of water is like kshetra. The shining, the reflection of the sun, which makes that drop shine, is like kshetrajna. And Bhagwan is that sun. Bhagwan says, I am the sun who is illumining, who is shining in all the drops. Bhagwan says, here when Bhagwan is talking, he is not talking as Krishna as one particular person. He is not talking as one consciousness illumining his body. He is talking as that pure Brahma. He is talking identified with that pure Brahma, which is alone the very kshetrajna in all the kshetra. So, kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarvakshetreshu bharata. This kshetrajna we experience in ourselves as our presence, our existence. It is not something theoretical, it is something which is experiential. We are not talking about theory, we are not talking about concept. We are talking about what we are experiencing right now. So this doesn't require any faith or any other thing. It requires an open mind to comprehend this. So when we look at ourselves, we experience ourselves as being, as a conscious being. I experience myself as someone who is existing. I exist. Then I add some lot of things and say that I am so and all, but before that, I experience myself as pure existence only. And that pure existence is conscious of some body. That is what we call our life, our day-to-day world. That we are. If there is no consciousness of this body, we don't have any world, we don't have any life. All our questions, all our thriving, all our life begins when there is consciousness, and that consciousness is conscious of some body. Otherwise, we don't have anything. And this body and this consciousness, they go together. Consciousness and consciousness of the body, they go together. Just like the drop of water and the reflection of the sun, it goes together. The reflection of the sun cannot be there without the drop of water. Sun can be there without the drop of water. But reflection of the sun cannot be there without the drop of water. So presence of the drop of water we come to know because of the sun. In fact, that word objects is very interesting. So the light of the sun by itself cannot be seen, cannot be comprehended. But when it is objected by some object, by some material, then that light can be seen. I hope you are understanding. I am just saying something, huh? At least you should understand. Then you can explain it to me. See, light by itself cannot be seen unless that light is objected. When in a tube also there is a light on top, the whole tube, if you see in front, it will appear dark only. But when you keep your hand, suddenly you can see the flash of light. So, similarly, the pure consciousness, which is that Brahma, is free from all sense of objectivity. It is pure subject, pure subjectivity. There are no objects in it. But when we talk about Kshetrajna, we talk about that consciousness which is aware of some object, and that object is the body, that object is our mind, that object is our senses, that object is our intellect, and that object is called Sharira. So we have to shift our attention from the body and understand and comprehend the Kshetrajna, which is experienced at present by my existence. As I am aware of myself to be, I am present. That is the experience of Kshetrajna. And it is same in you and me. But when I identify with my body, then suddenly there comes difference that you are a different body, I am a different body. But if you just go to that basic experience of your own existence, I am, there is no difference between you and me. That pure I am, which is conscious of this body, is that Kshetrajna. And if we hold on to that pure I am, and if we shift our attention totally from the objects, from what it is aware of, and try to comprehend it by itself, then suddenly we realize that it is that pure consciousness, nameless, formless Brahma. It's like a drop of water and the reflection of that sun in that drop of water. And the reflection of the sun is just aware of that reflection, and as it is aware, it just forgets about the drop, and suddenly it realizes that I am the sun. And when it realizes that I am the sun, it comes to know that I alone am reflecting in all the waters. And that is what Bhagwan has identified with that supreme truth. And he is saying that I alone am there in all the kshetras, kshetrajna. Kshetrajnam chapi mam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. In another chapter also he has mentioned that aham atma gudakesha sarva bhutashayastitaha in the 10th chapter. That I am that Atma who is residing in everyone's heart. See, Bhagavad Gita can be studied, and generally people study, majority of them study from the standpoint of Arjuna. But Bhagavad Gita has to be studied from the standpoint of Krishna. Bhagavan is telling Arjuna to understand my standpoint. From Arjuna's standpoint, if we study, we will consider ourselves as little being only. But when we shift our attention, we will comprehend it in its totality. So, kshetrajnam chapi mam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. So, you need to contemplate on it and understand it very deeply. And Bhagavan says that kshetrajna yor jnanam yattad jnanam matam mama. And knowing this, knowing the secret, knowing the essence of kshetra and kshetrajna itself is called knowledge. A person who knows this, knows. A person who doesn't know this, doesn't know. We may know in the name of spirituality, in the name of religion, we might know a lot of things. In fact, people are interested in knowing all non-essentials. Lot of things a person may know. Of various mantras and various types of rituals and various types of things. So many things they know. But what we have to know, what is kshetra and who is the kshetrajna, and what is the essence of the kshetrajna. So when I am conscious of the body, I am a kshetrajna, and when I identify with the body, I become a samsari. I become a samsari when I identify with the body. But when the kshetrajna, that is I, when I recognize myself as that pure consciousness, then I become free from this identification and come to realize that I am that Brahma. I am that Brahma. I am free from all these limitations. So we are caught up in this body. We are not the body, but we are that consciousness, and we have to release ourselves from this bondage of this body. And it's not some esoteric thing. It is sincerely, seriously, if we pursue, we will be able to do it. It's like that example is given like a grass, and in the there is a reed, and it has to be removed from the outer layer. Similarly, we are attached to this body by saying that I am the body. Suppose somebody asks you, what are you doing? I am sitting. What does it mean? Body is sitting and I am identified with the body and I am saying I am sitting. It's like if you ask the sun, what are you doing? He says, no, I am just dropping. In the sense, I am the drop. I am hanging on here. But it is saying that it is a drop, identifying with that drop. We are saying I am the body, identifying with the body. So shift your attention from the body and experience that pure I am. Just hold on to that experience of your own existence. I am, I am. And when we hold on to it with full attention and full concentration, we will come to know that that I am in its pure form is free from all this body, is free from life, free from death. It is that pure existence because of which everything seems to exist. This is a very esoteric and very interesting point. So Bhagavan says, those who know this, they alone know. And those who don't know this, they are ignorant. So kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam yat tad jnanam matam mama. See here what is used as the term kshetrajna and kshetra. Same thing is explained in the 7th chapter by using the term, for kshetra the term used is apara prakriti, and for kshetrajna the term used is para prakriti. So you should not get confused by these different terms. Then the same thing is later on, Bhagavan will talk about the same two things as prakriti and purusha. These two terms are also used. See, different names, different terms are used because they have a little, they reveal a more facet of the same subject. Therefore, different terms are used. So, prakriti means kshetra and purusha means kshetrajna. So, kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam yattad jnanam matam mama. So, according to my opinion, those who know the secret, the essence of kshetra and kshetrajna, and the essence of kshetra and kshetrajna is I, is that pure consciousness, is that Brahma. One who knows this, he knows. The kshetra and kshetrajna also can be called as seen and the seer. The kshetra is the seen and the kshetrajna is the seer, or that which is experienced and the experiencer, or the object and the subject. Whichever terms we understand clearly, we can hold on to it. Because as we go along in this world, new and new terms start coming and it creates more confusion. In the good old days, only Sanskrit was there when they were learning this, so some few terms. Now we have to use some English terms also. Now, Bhagavan explains in detail what exactly is the kshetra. He says in the next verse, Takshetram yachya yadrikcha yadvikari yatascha yata स च यो यत्प्रभावश्च तत्समासेन मे शृणु तत्क्षेत्रं यच्च यादृक् च यद्विकारि यतश्च यत्. Bhagavan says, now, hey Arjuna, that I have told you the main topic, Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Now you understand the Kshetra in totality, in properly. What we mean by body. What are the various ingredients in our body? What are the contents of our body? So, tak kshetra yaccha, what it is, yadrakcha, what is its nature, yad vikari, what are its modification, yataha, from where it has come, what is its origin, all this you understand about kshetra, about your body. See, our body, when we were born, actually nobody asked us that do you want to take birth. We call democracy this, that and all. Nobody asked, okay, Baba, you are interested to take birth, what's your opinion? Please fill this form. I have no objection to be born. Nobody asked. We just are born, one fine day we are born. And that fine day we celebrate also later on. But we are born. And born means what? There is a awareness starts happening about a body. We become conscious of our own existence, and we become conscious of a body which is all the time hanging around this existence. That wherever we go, there seems to be one object always following us. That is our body. If I close my eyes and just think, I am just pure existence. I feel my own presence. I feel my own being. But I also feel that being associated with a particular body. So, what is this body? What is its nature? What are the various modifications of this body? From where it has come? That Bhagavan says, you understand samasena briefly. Also he says that sa here means the kshetrajna, the knower of this body, the one who is conscious of this body. That kshetrajna, such a yo yat prabhavascha, what it is and what is its prabhav, what is its influence, what is its power with respect to the body. See, according to the body, that consciousness also seems to have variety of power. In an ant body, the consciousness has got limited power. But in an elephant body, it seems to have more power. It's like the reflection of the sun in a little glass of water, it has got limited power. But the same reflection in a big lake, it has got more power. So it is just a difference. The power is just a difference in the different types of bodies. When we say Brahmaji, he has got a large, big, huge body. So he has got more power. When we say human being, we have our own limited body. So the prabhav, the power and the influence of this kshetrajna depends on the type of body. So sacha yo yat prabhavascha tat samasena me shruno, that you understand, you hear from me briefly. So first Bhagavan will talk about kshetrajna, and then later on he will tell about the first he will talk about kshetra, and then later on Bhagavan will talk about kshetrajna. Kshetrajna he talks about as neyam, as that which has to be known. Huh? But before telling about this kshetra, Bhagwan tells about its importance, about this knowledge. The kshetra, kshetrajna, this knowledge is so important that it alone is revealed in all the scriptures. He says in the next verse, ऋषिभिर् बहुधा गीतम् छन्दोभिर्विविधैः पृथक् ब्रह्मसूत्रपदैश्चैव हेतुमद्भिर्विनिश्चितैः ऋषिभिर्बहुधा गीतं छन्दोभिर्विविधैः पृथक्. Bhagavan says Rishibhihi, by the various rishis, like Vasishtha, rishis, Bahudha Gitam, they have sung about the Kshetra, Kshetrajna and their essence as that Brahma in variety of ways. See, we have a vast storehouse of literature. The spiritual literature is very vast. Mind-blowing, like it's like a large supermarket. It's not one text. Bhagavad Gita we are studying, but there are hundreds and thousands of variety of wonderful spiritual literature, each one of them a great gem. Like we have Yog Vasishtha, 32,000 verses, revealing the same truth. In various types of examples and ways it is revealed. Because every Rishi Muni who came, they expressed this truth in their own words. It's like beauty. Beauty is one, but expression of beauty can be many. If you see a beautiful sunrise or sunset, and if you are told to express it, everyone will express it differently. It might appear they are talking about something else, but all of them are talking about the same beauty. But still, after writing everything about it, they say that it is much more beautiful than what we have written. It cannot be expressed, cannot be captured. But we tried our best. And they will not have any conflict. They will say, he has described differently, I have described differently. That doesn't mean we are talking about different thing. Therefore, there is a very beautiful statement, कि एकम सत विप्रा बहुधा वदन्ति, कि सत, the truth is one, but these wise people, they talk about it in different ways, using different means and words and examples. So, Rishibhihi bahudha Gitam. Rishis are those who are the seers, the knowers, the wise people, who have comprehended the truth, who have recognized it. They are called the Rishis. They have seen the truth. They are not philosophers. They are not just theoretical genius or something. They are the one who has seen the truth, and they are expressing in their own words. So they are the rishis. So Rishibhihi Bahudha Gitam. Here Bhagavan is telling the importance of this knowledge. He doesn't say that it is just my own or I am telling from my own mind or something, but this is being said by all the great rishis. Chando Bihi, and in the Chanda, in the various mantras of the Rig Ved, Yajurved, Samaved, Atharvaved, it has been described in various ways. Prathaka, Vividhaihi, Prathaka, in different ways, in variety of ways it is been revealed in our scriptures. Then Brahma Sutra, then there are certain literature, Sutra in very aphorism. In a small little sentences, they convey the truth. Like Brahma Sutra or like Yoga Sutra, and so many sutras are there. Brahma Sutra is those statements which reveal the nature of Brahma. They are called Brahma Sutra. So with this Brahma Sutras also, they talk about this Kshetra and Kshetrajna only. Brahma Sutra Padaschaiva, they also have revealed the same knowledge which I am going to reveal, and I have mentioned to you. That same knowledge is revealed in Brahma Sutra also. And how they have revealed? Hetumat bihi, by giving proper reasoning and logic. See, our Vedanta begins with our experience of I am. See, there are certain assumptions which every knowledge which takes, like even science, they begin with certain assumptions. And if those assumptions are not solid, then the whole structure falls down. Assumptions are like the foundation. Science just assumes that we are and the world is, and then they begin investigating. Vedanta doesn't assume anything. The basic thing Vedanta assumes is my own existence. I am. That is my first and foremost doubtless experience, that I exist. Who am I don't know, but I experience my own presence. That is fundamental. After experiencing my own presence, I experience the presence of the world. That is secondary. And then I think and imagine the experience or the concept of God. That is tertiary. The fundamental is my own presence. So my presence is my direct experience. Experience of the world is through my senses. And about God and all is my inference. So the direct experience of I am is there, and that alone is analyzed and understood as what it is essentially. Therefore, giving wonderful logic and reasoning, definitely with conviction, the truth is revealed. Vinishchitaihi, there is no doubt. It is not a theory. Vedanta is not a theory. What Vedanta reveals is a fact. In science, there are various theories, and then later on, some powerful theory comes and they negate the previous theories. They are saying that this is not true. This theory, new theory, is the one thing. How this world functions, Newton had his own theory. Then Einstein came and he had his own theory. Then later on, now various scientists are saying some other theories, some string theories and all. So this Vedanta is not theory, it is the direct experience of that fact as it is. Hetumad, so giving rational reasoning, and vinishchitaihi, with conviction, these scriptures have revealed this truth. So after telling the importance of it, now Bhagwan in the fifth verse, he tells what is the kshetra. So let us chant this verse, and more detail we will study tomorrow, but today we will chant. Mahabhutanyahankarah buddhiravyaktameva cha indriyani dashakancha panchachendriya gocharaha mahabhutanyahankarah buddhiravyaktameva cha indriyani dashakancha panchachendriya gocharaha. These are the 24 basic elements which go to make our body. When we say our body, it is made up of 5 great elements: Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi, space, air, fire, water, and earth. In their subtle form, they are called Sukshma Pancha I will explain tomorrow. Now just the literal translation. So our body is made up of the subtle 5 elements. Then it is ahankar is there, ego. Then buddhi, intellect. Then avyakta, the unmanifest, the impressions of the past, what we call vasanas. They are unmanifest. That is also part of the body. Then indriyani dasha, 10 indriyas, the 5 organs of perception and the 5 organs of action. Then ekam is the mind which controls these organs. Then panchacha indriya gocharaha, then the 5 objects seen through our senses, that is shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha, sight, sound, shabda, touch, sparsha, rupa, that is form and color, rasa means taste, and gandha means smell. This all 24 together, they are called sharira. It's the most comprehensive, most scientific. You cannot add anything to it. You cannot subtract anything from this. It is the complete, most beautiful. This is what we call body. And vikar of this body will also be explained in the next verse. So this is what we call the kshetra. More about this we will study tomorrow.